Hello, everybody. Thanks to Ann and Chris for inviting me to be on this panel. It's a really inspiring group to be presenting with. So in 2014, I started teaching an interdisciplinary art and ecology course at my college. The course is cross-listed to serve both the art and design and environmental studies majors and is open to students from other disciplines as well. From the first time I taught it, although students were engaged in creating some good work, it became evident that many were not thinking enough about how their public-facing projects were influenced by their own perceptions, beliefs, and biases. Nor were they thinking enough about how their work might be interpreted by audiences that didn't share the same understanding of terms like nature or wilderness. Although I've always discussed the history and shifting complexity of these terms in my class, I felt the need to have them begin the course by going deeper into an investigation of their own specific ideas about the subject, and then connecting those to the place they're currently living. The idea is that after exploring and developing a greater understanding of their own preconceptions, they'd be better prepared to make more thoughtful and impactful public-facing ecological artworks. It's important to start talking about the personal nature assignment with the understanding that the term nature is commonly used by people, particularly those coming from a Euro-American cultural context, to describe a specific part of the living world that's mostly separate from humans and human activity. I would argue that many people who use this term assume they know what they mean when they say it, and that the audience they're saying it to will understand their meaning. The idea of this thing we call nature being mostly separate from humans and everyday human activity is a problem, especially when trying to convince people to make better environmental choices and actively work on the significant environmental problems we face. It makes nature something we should save, but I think people have trouble seeing the direct personal threat from harm to a thing that is other than us. When we bring in the idea of wilderness, often associated with a greater degree of separation, things get even more problematic, since those spaces are considered far from our daily lives. It's safe to assume that everyone contributing to the Eco Art in Action book, and likely everyone in attendance here today, understands this. Most of you will also understand these terms need to be used with care and attention to a diverse range of situations. The students and audiences I work with, however, have often not been exposed to these ideas, and my conversations with them have demonstrated there's significant work to be done on this front. A greater understanding of these terms that move past any imperfect singular definition can lead to a better understanding of our inseparable relationship to the other species in our shared ecosystems. I designed this project to be flexible for people from a wide range of cultural backgrounds and experiences, and students often comment on how much they learn from hearing the perspectives of others in class. One of the exciting possibilities of my project being included in this book was for it to be used by a far more diverse set of instructors and students than I usually have access to at my college. This assignment is based on a project I was going to do for an exhibition where the original plan was to have a diverse set of participants coming from outside an academic setting. Instead of pursuing it for those purposes, I shifted to using it in this pedagogical context and have been very encouraged by the results. The assignment begins with a questionnaire about a student's personal understanding of different aspects of the term nature. They fill these out on the first day of class before we have almost any discussion of the content of the course, in order to create a baseline of their pre-existing ideas. The assignment proceeds by students sharing their answers to the questionnaire in a group discussion, while I begin introducing and asking their understanding of other terms like ecosystem, biophilia, Anthropocene, sustainability, and other relevant terms. Because it's common for half to two-thirds of students in my course to come from majors other than art and design, and a number who have never taken any studio art course, I had them gain some experience in creative production by doing a progressive series of exercises in parallel to this assignment. These are things like quick artworks with ephemeral natural materials, observational drawing, and playing around with upcycling. This gives them the opportunity to experiment with a diversity of art-making strategies used by many eco-artists. The assignment of personal nature culminates in two primary elements. First is a visual display of photographic imagery and text that was originally a physical photo-based collage displayed on a wall like these pictured here. But for the past couple of years, I've shifted to a web-based digital presentation built on the free browser-based app. This is partly a result of having to teach this class remotely during the pandemic, but also because the physical displays never quite achieved the visual impact that I hoped for, and I was looking for a better solution. The web presentations have done a better job at making the imagery and text content easier to read and connect. Shifting the creative decisions from composition and arrangement of the collage to a more direct focus on the images themselves has increased the quality of the images overall. Each student is asked to choose the picture they think best represents their idea of nature for the landing page, and these have become particularly interesting in framing their own perceptions. The web presentations, since they're published as live websites, are also available to a much larger audience than the physical displays that only existed in our art building. In the future, I may experiment with other display strategies, but for now this is working quite well. The second element is a short paper each student writes analyzing their experiences doing the project. And this for me has been the most successful part of the whole assignment. I'm often amazed by the thoughtful self-awareness in their writing, and also their openness to admitting significant changes to their previously held ideas. Lots of great examples of this, but I'm just going to quote from one student paper, and I quote, "When first tasked with this personal nature assignment, I didn't expect to learn anything new about myself and my relationship to nature. In fact, when I was answering the questionnaire as step one of the assignment, I was wondering how it would make sense to put my answers up with my artwork. What I was surprised to discover was that I have some inconsistencies in my view of nature, and that I don't know very much about the environment I live in. In the questionnaire, when I was asked if I considered the pests in my home to be nature, I answered no. This is interesting because when asked to go outside and take pictures of distinct non-human, non-plant living things, I chose to take pictures of the very things I listed as pests in my home. The inconsistency is that in my own home, I don't usually think of these things as nature, but when outside I do. What this demonstrates is the separation I've created within my own personal ecosystem and nature." Anyway, I thought that got to a lot of the ideas I'm pushing for in this assignment. I'm now in my 5th year beginning the class with this assignment, and I've been very encouraged that it's helping students produce work that is better connected to the place they live and work. Before I started this project, students often wanted to focus on vitally important but quite general topics like climate change, pollution, and recycling. The issues are so large and overwhelming, students were having trouble making anything that wasn't just a repetition of common strategies deployed by environmental organizations and environmentalists for many years now. Now they're more likely to focus on projects like investigating how much food waste comes out of our student cafeteria, how many available sites on our campus can be transformed into ecologically beneficial habitats, helping connect more students to our campus sustainable agriculture farm, and the long-term restoration work being done in the college's 340-acre natural area. All these things are small and local, but there's tremendous potential for transforming our college campus through these works. More importantly, young people are going out into the world with positive, ecologically focused ideas and experiences. And all this inspires me to keep going with this pedagogical strategy, and more importantly, to share it with others. Thank you very much.